Hail, salutations, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the G.N.A podcast. I'm your host, Blue Shark 45, and fuck trees. I hate them. I hate their sexual cycles, the pollinating. I can't breathe without coughing so fucking much. It's just driving me up the wall. And this is not a podcast where we talk about that. Instead, this is the podcast Games, Nerds, and Alcohol, where we get drunk and talk about stuff. And tonight, I am joined by the only man that really cares about me in my life, Zyber. How you doing, Zyber?
Hey, I'm doing all right. I mean, I figured I should get in my two hosts, one show at some point.
You never did that with Cecil?
No, I didn't.
Oh, I feel really special now.
You're my first.
Giggity. So tonight's gonna be fun. Tonight's gonna be interesting. So let's go ahead and kick off to what we always do. Zyber, what are you drinking tonight, sir?
Well, since it's going to be a short roundabout, the second I woke up at 4:30, I tossed back two of the Krabby's alcoholic ginger beers, and now I'm just leading out with the Fetterman's ginger beer, which is non-alcoholic.
Man, you really like those gingers.
Oh yeah, I love it, man. It's my jam.
Do they come with or without souls?
Well, it feels like you're drinking a bottle of medium quality souls.
You know how many gingers it took to make that soul? That can.
How many souls the ginger actually put in the bottle? Well, if it's anything like Aladdin, there's like maybe 6 per bottle.
Sounds about right. But man, I can't get past that scene in Aladdin where he just tricks the guy and he gets trapped in the genie, or trapped in the lamp. Spoilers, sorry if you didn't see the movie back in the 90s when it originally came out. But yeah, that was creepy. I'm not gonna lie. But well, let's move on to what I am partaking of, and I am partaking in a simple glass of Maker's Mark with a couple ice cubes in it. Maker's Mark is one of my go-tos when it comes to cheaper liquor. It's it's not something you have to spend a lot of money on to get like good taste, and you don't necessarily feel guilty about mixing it with something if you really want to. But a little bit of ice kills the burn, and goes down very smooth, and has a nice caramel vanilla note to it. Very light on the caramel, heavy on the vanilla. Kind of lose it though because I've got my dinner next to me because I got spaghetti and that's not really helping. But normally I love it. It's really good, and I highly recommend trying it if you haven't already. A little bottle will probably cost you somewhere around, I would say like $30. Not too bad.
Well, it also depends on where you go. I would say more of a range between like $23 and $35 for a small bottle of Maker Mark.
Yeah, so if you haven't and you're thinking about it, I suggest go out, buy yourself some. If anything, you'll find that it's a good bourbon to have around, and you can mix it in with some mint and simple syrup and some ice slush, and have yourself a mint julep if you want. Now, I'm a little distracted, if you can't already tell. Zyber's probably better at this than I am, but we're playing Pokemon. Because it's Pokemon Day, which I didn't know about that until Zyber told me. So we're going around in the Pokemon Sword game, and we're hunting down raids because you get starters. And what else can you find in these raids, Zyber?
You can find not only the starters, but some of the more basic Pokemon, but in their Gigamax forms. You can capture them, and the loot is absolutely phenomenal. You can actually battle Mewtwo, although you can't catch him. The rewards, if you beat that raid, are phenomenal. He is level 100 in the raid, best moves, so you have to bring your A game. By the time you hear this, it'd probably be well past it and unavailable, but yeah, it's just nuts.
Oh yeah, like this is like the first time I've had a full team. Like I've gone online before and had like maybe like one other person and and then two other AIs. But normally it's me and three AIs when I'm doing these raid battles. But in here, like I haven't had a chance to make my attack, and we're already knocking. Boom, he's already gone. Charmander, got it. They're gonna, he's ready to be caught now. But I'm a little disappointed that you can't get. You said Mewtwo?
Yes, you can battle him, but you cannot capture him.
I guess that someone brought him over with Pokebank because there's one of the guys on my team actually played with this Mewtwo.
Yeah, I've been doing that myself. I brought it over with the home, which from my bank to the home, it was, I believe, the one that I transferred over from one of my original trades back in like the early days. But yeah, I have that in my party, as well as I have my Mewtwo from Let's Go Eevee in my bank.
Did you spend a lot of time in that Let's Go Eevee game?
Oh yeah, I'm just doing the round out of my Pokedex in that game, which is kind of on hiatus, but yeah, I'm almost done with it.
Very nice. I never got into the game. I didn't have the Switch until late last year. No, spring last year or something like that. But I played Pokemon Go mobile, and I didn't really see it. It wasn't really like it wasn't gonna do it for me. I mean, Pokemon Go added in battling, late in the game.
Right.
I think that was like year 3.
The only reason I got to where I am in Let's Go Eevee is because of my Pokemon Go account. I transferred all the ones that I didn't quite have yet early off into the game. Then by the time I got to the little transfer center place and had to recatch everything, I didn't really care because everything was right there, and I had like 300 Pokeballs, so...
Holy shit.
Well, I showed you with my sword, like, I have Pokeballs for day. I make sure I have Pokeballs for days.
Yeah, but, I mean, like... in Pokemon Go, like, to get that, like, you'd have to, like, up your bag and all this other shit. And so, it's like, it's a lot of fucking room to take up in your Pokemon bag.
Yeah, not the case in the Let's Go's, really.
Okay. Well, so, this is... Pokemon to me has always been Game Boy. I tried playing other games on my Game Boy. Donkey Kong Classic. What else did I play on there? I started some other classic game on there. I rented it from Blockbuster back when Blockbuster existed. I think that was like one of the very few times I rented a Game Boy game. So I played that, but mostly Pokemon Red, Pokemon Blue, Gold and Silver. That's what I played on there. I got a Game Boy Advance, and I still played Pokemon Gold and Silver Game Boy versions on there. And then, what was it called? Zone of Enders, The Fist of Mars. I am, just like Cecil, I am a sucker for a mech game, you know. I loved it. Like, I loved Gundam Wing. Like, that was my thing. And I loved the Zone of Enders, The Fist of Mars story. It was it was a hard turn-based game. I mean, you know, like different stories, different outcomes. I think I actually played that game twice through, which was rare for me at the time. I only ever played a game once through on a handheld. I never went back and did it multiple times. But what about you, Zyber? What does Game Boy mean to you, like as far as like your gaming experiences go?
Well, for me, Game Boy consisted of, yes, Pokemon. But before I ever got into Pokemon, it was Mario, the Lands one there. Crap, I can't think of the actual name of the title. But that Kid Icarus game for the Game Boy, because I am a Kid Icarus nut. If it's Kid Icarus, I'll give it a go because I'm a glutton for punishment. Let's see. Those are like primarily the ones that jump off the top of my head. The Mario Secret Lands or whatever it was, and Kid Icarus, as well as Pokemon's.
Okay. Well, so the reason why we're bringing this up is because of a news story that we found out a couple days ago about a 95-year-old who, sorry, gotta pick a move. Ooh, did that just in time. So they've got a Game Boy when it came out. Tetris is their game. And so they were playing that, and then it broke, and so they got a replacement. So Game Boy number 2. And then that starts to go on. The screens on the original Game Boys were really, bad, and there were a lot of things, it's their first handheld. So there's always bugs with the system. But this 95-year-old woman, at the suggestion of her 75-year-old son or daughter, I can't quite remember which one it is.
Grandson?
Grandson, really?
Or Taizi's son, the 95-year-old woman's grandson, told his grandmother that Nintendo was known for excellent customer service. So the grandson told her.
Okay. So she handwrites a letter, mails in the Game Boy into Nintendo asking them to fix it. Gets a reply from Nintendo like a week later. Can't fix it. Worst nightmare that you could ever hear for like a gamer. But instead of sending back the old Game Boy, they sent back an unused original Game Boy. Which, to me,
that's crazy. I mean, that's like just the value of a never used, like, still stock packaged Game Boy. The value alone is just phenomenal.
Let's see. Let's take a look if we can't find the brand new original Game Boy. Right now, Bonanza. Not include original box, instruction manual, and the DLC item may vary from the image. But $300. $300 for an original Game Boy.
And that's like no box whatsoever.
Yeah, like that's really freaking crazy. Like I think it's like $250, or it's like it's around $200 for.
Just to let you know, on eBay there is a launch in box Game Boy for almost $4,000.
Wow. That's crazy. So this woman basically got a $4,000 Game Boy for, just being writing in and being a loyal fan. And I mean, honestly, like, that's like a really great customer service experience. Like, I have Jaybird Bluetooth headphones, and I sent those in. Or I contacted them because like they wouldn't turn on, and so they're like, "Oh well, try this," and I did this and it didn't work, and then they're like, "Okay, so we're gonna send you a new pair of headphones. All we need you to do is take a photo of your original pair of headphones with them cut in half, and then boom, I'll send you a new pair." So they did that, and then I got another pair that went, and then I had bought a second backup pair because that original pair was going to be for the gym, and the backup pair was going to be for my desk at work. And then that backup pair goes out on me. And so they're like, yeah, we'll just send you a replacement. Free, no charge. They said they won't send me another one. But, I mean, I thought that was great. But this, like, oh yeah, we've got an old one in the back. So it's still in the box. Let me send it over to you. Like, what the hell? Really? Because they didn't have the parts. Like, this isn't something where like, oh yeah, they just built it. No. They didn't have parts. They just had the complete one. Oh crap! Don't want to give this.
Yeah, I actually had a pair of Bluetooth headphones that cut out, and they weren't They were like Quaker or something like that. I can't remember the name of the brand, QFX or some shit. But yeah, I messaged them, and they did a similar thing, but they wanted me to mail back the broken headphones.
Yeah, that's great.
But yeah, like further down in the article that was shared with us, I don't understand why they didn't just send a like 2DS or some shit like that with preloaded Tetris or something like that on it.
I mean, maybe. I guess they could have done that. They could have given her an upgrade. I don't know, but at the same time, it's like, what if that's what you like? Like, I mean, D's done it. Like, changes out the screens on Game Boys to put in a backlit screen. Like, I mean, you must like the game and the retro games that exist on there to want to do that. So,
right. I mean, I understand that. I mean, screen-wise, yeah, I can do a screen mod myself, but if the hardware in her Game Boy was just kaput, no matter what screen you pop in, it's not going to work.
Yeah. Oh.
I mean, it is what it is, I guess, but that's really awesome of Nintendo to go through their archive, pull out this brand new freaking Game Boy original, and ship it off to her. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I really think that's great because, I mean, like, that shows a lot of, like, to me, that speaks great about a company. Like, that you'll do that, here, let me send you a new one. And, like, I mean, the fact that they had them is great. But, you don't get that a lot. Like, I don't find something like that when people, like, stand behind their product like that. But when I do find companies like that, like, I'm like, I love you guys. Like, Nintendo, like, hell fudge. You know, like, if you're going to do something like that, then, you know, like, you just probably won a customer for life. Like, I mean, I love the games, but I'd probably like, well, Nintendo does stuff like that, so maybe I should just always stick with Nintendo from now on.
Though, in my head also, it was like, oh, maybe some, like, PR person just went out into the lobby, opened up a case, that was a display. It's like, we'll sunder this.
I mean, maybe, but oh, screw it. If they did, then, you know, damn it. Oh, so it gives Nintendo good press. I mean, fuck, we're talking about it now, but still, it's still, you know, they did it. You know, that to me means something, and obviously this kid was talking about his experiences with their customer service, and I've never had to call Nintendo for anything, so I've never really had the chance to see this great customer service at work personally, but, you know, it gives me a lot of good confidence that next time I gotta, you know, if I ever have to, you know, call Nintendo for something like that, I'm gonna get some good service.
Absolutely. Yeah, personally, if I can't fix it, then maybe I'll get a hold of them. But by then, they're like, "Did you touch this?" No.
No.
I think you touched this. Oh, okay. Maybe I did a little soldering. So what?
Yeah.
You just voided your warranty.
Which we can get into a whole show about that, like the right for a customer to like repair their own shit without.
We already did that.
Oh yeah, that's right, we did. So we can get into a whole nother episode about the gripes and groans that I have with that, like the inability to like fix your own shit. But yeah. So who have you ended up catching in this Pokemon Day extravaganza?
Well, I have caught Kingler. I have caught a Squirtle. I have caught a Valplume and a bunch of other basics. But I haven't come across a Charmander yet. And it's upsetting.
Dude, I did. I came across him like 5 minutes ago.
Ah, you suck.
Downed him. Didn't catch. Did not catch. I was just, damn it. The one starter that I don't have, because I got Squirtle, I got Bulbasaur, but couldn't seal the deal with Charmander. It sucks, because I don't know if I'm gonna find it. Because if you're having a hard time finding them, and you've probably been doing this for what, like an hour or two.
I've been up since 4:30. Started playing about a little after 5, so I'd say about 5:15. And I haven't come across one yet. But I've been distracted also doing other things, getting ready for work and the show.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned it, because I've been completely out of the loop on that one, and I would have missed it, because I'm guessing it's only for today. Or is it?
That I am not sure. I'm not sure if it's going through the weekend or not. I think Pokemon Go was mentioning something of it lasting through the weekend, but I'm not entirely sure. I could be absolutely wrong, and yeah, talking out of my ass, but I'm not sure. I'm gonna just leave it there.
Well, when in doubt, Google it. Mewtwo, Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle added to Pokemon Sword and Shield on Pokemon Day. So today's Pokemon Day so Red and Green's released back in Japan in 1996. So 24 is not a significant birthday. Next year should be fun, though, but there's still a bunch of additions being made to Pokemon Sword and Shield. So, Mewtwo and Gen 1 starter Pokemons are being paired to Max Rain battles in Sword and Shield. Although Charmander was already in the game, others weren't, so that means 7 new Pokemon. If you count Bulbasaur and Squirtle's extra evolutions. There's a snag, though, in that you won't be able to catch Mewtwo as he's too powerful. Presumably means he won't be properly logged into your Pokedex. Which, yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, but if you already have a Mewtwo somewhere, you're going to get them in your Pokedex, regardless.
Oh, so there's no doubt. Helps promote the Netflix movie Mewtwo Strikes Back Evolution. That's weird. I know they did another Mewtwo movie with... Oh, really? Huh. It's kind of animated, kind of like Pokemon Go. Or, I don't know. It's like high definition claymation is what I think of when I look at this. What do you think about those images that you see on that website, Zyber?
Well, I don't really care for animation that is heavily CGI engined. I'm a traditionalist in that aspect of I like my anime hand drawn.
Okay. Well, then that's what this is. It's pretty much heavy CGI and computer generated. And looking at that Pikachu, though, it almost makes me think of... it almost looks like the realistic Pokemon that they had in Detective Pikachu.
I still gotta catch that. Only because of someone's voice.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I love him. The comedy's good in that, I'm sure, but I just haven't had the chance to see it. I haven't even seen the last damn Star Wars movie that came out. I've probably missed the chance to see it, and I've been trying to get my fiance through the Star Wars movies. We got through the original trilogy, and it's just finding time to get in and see the rest of them, and then go to see it in theaters. But I'm just gonna as soon as it comes out.
Did you go chronological order or release order?
Release. The way that I got to see it when I grew up, 4 through 6. Then we're gonna go 1 through 3, and then we'll go 7 through.
So you're not gonna incorporate the sagas that actually tie in?
You mean like Rogue and Solo? I could. I don't know. I'm not gonna push it. I'd rather see the trilogy. If I don't know, run it by her. I mean, I didn't think Solo was fan-freaking-tastic, but it filled in gaps and helped explain some things.
Yeah, I didn't care for Solo. It was filler. I mean, it was filler that I felt they could have done in, like, maybe a 30-minute episode, 45-minute episode.
Yeah, it could have. The Clone Wars animated series, they set the bar pretty damn high. I mean, I've been watching
they did.
Star Wars Rebels just to fill in stuff, and like at moments it's like, oh, that's really freaking cool. Like, ooh, you could see more of Vader, but it's still kind of like, not as captivating as Clone Wars was. I mean, Clone Wars.
I don't like the animation in Rebels. That's one thing that throws me off. And yes, the Clone Wars had similar animation, but it was a lot more crunchy, acceptable, and fun than Rebels. Rebels was too computer, in my opinion.
Yeah, and Rebels was also very... I mean, it aired on Disney XD, or something like that.
Yeah,
Or
Disney DX.
Disney DX. So it aired on there, and you can really tell that it's kid focused because like they talked about it in one of the episodes, like like they were doing it was the Empire doing the analysis of all these rebel attacks, and they're like, oh yeah, there's a Jedi in there, and they're like, well, how do you know there's a Jedi in there? Well, that's because you can tell that no one died in any of his attacks. And you think about what's his name? The boy?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, the main character, he has like a little like wrist rocket that shoots like stun pulses. And then when he creates his lightsaber, he has an ability to shoot out stun pulses as well. So it's stunning. It's not really killing. Even, sometimes they even show scenes where like they like blow something up and you still like look and like the guy like walks away from it. It's kind of weird. But Clone Wars, they had no problem with killing. And I think that when you're talking about rebellions and wars and just Star Wars in general, to me, it's like there's dismemberment and there's death. And
yeah, Rebels was very much Derry's soft party from Leonard Kenny.
Yeah, really. I mean, it's got some good moments to it, but it doesn't have that. It's kid gloves drama. That's the best way I can put it.
Very much so.
And it's not just because of, well, it really is because they don't, like, you get put in these dire situations, and like, well, now that I think about it, I take it back. Some people do die. There was one of the Inquisitors died, the Grand Inquisitor or something like that. But it really doesn't take that a lot. A few times here and there, they'll use that, but otherwise, it's just kind of, we're not going to kill anyone, and it's kind of like, it seems a little unrealistic. Like, you're a rebellion, you're fighting back. Like, the Jedi killed in the Clone Wars. Like, the Jedi have killed before. They try to avoid it at all costs. Really, they're, words over force, it is true of the Jedi Order. But in a situation like this, I don't know. It's kid gloves to me. Like, it really could grab hold of some more like deeper feelings in that series and just kind of like really like make you like almost kind of like kill people off, just to really kind of like you get attached and then snuff someone out.
Yeah, Game of Thrones, everybody.
I mean, yeah, to an extent. I mean, like, you don't have to Game of Thrones everyone if you don't, to really make something feel a little bit realer, more realistic. Realer. That's a funny word. But speaking of death, because this is a great segue into this, the sad, sad day in the world that we live in. The guy who made the Konami code. He died.
Yeah. He expended all 99 lives.
Kazuhisa Hashimoto. I'm probably bastardizing that. The man who invented the Konami code sheet that became pervasive in video games and pop culture, references in different movies, used in other games. God, I think The Matrix Reloaded the video. No, Enter the Matrix is the name of the game. I think it had a Konami code in it. GoldenEye probably had a Konami code in it.
Didn't one of the Grand Theft Autos also steal the Konami code?
Yeah, that sounds about right. I think I remember that. I don't know if they all gave you lives. but I mean, they used them a lot. I mean, so for those of you that don't know, during this time, cheat codes or codes in games weren't always necessarily for making you God in the game or cheating in the game, you know, giving you more lives, giving you infinite health, ammo, or anything like that. They were sometimes save states. So you would complete something and they would give you a code because the cartridge didn't have the capacity for saving memory. So like Mega Man actually required coding to pull up things that you've unlocked and to go to missions that you've completed. So like you would complete a mission, they give you a code, and that means that I've got the code, so I type that in the next time and I complete the mission. Or I found this weapon, so I type in the code and I get to use that weapon again. Because they didn't have the capacity for some of this stuff, like saving. I don't know if did those cartridges even have batteries?
Some of them later on did. I've changed out batteries on some carts, but it was rare that a NES cart would have a battery.
So there you go. That's kind of how you were able to progress through a game instead of having to sit there and do like an entire marathon of gaming. It's literally like you turn the power off and poof, and you turn it back on and you start back at square one. Or if you had the code, you could move on to...
They didn't really start doing the battery thing until the SNES.
So, random question. What's really good against fighting in dark? I'm really bad at this.
Oh, geez. I can't pull that stuff up out of like thin air like some people I know.
All right, then I'm Googling it. Pokemon Sword and Shield. So, he... Konami confirmed his death in an email to NPR and said in a tweet that it was saddened to hear the news. His age has been variously reported as 61 and 79. So we don't really know how old the man is. But...
Well, on other media outlets, I'm seeing more 61 than 79.
Yeah. So he created the code, and he was in charge of taking the arcade version of spacecraft shooting game,
a.k.a. Contra.
Oh, gratis, and converting it to Nintendo console in 1986. Hadn't played much and obviously couldn't beat it myself, so I put in the Konami code, he said in a 2003 interview, because I was the one who was going to be using it. I made sure it was easy to remember. Up, down, left, right, select, start.
Up, down, left, right, BA, start.
So, as you can see, I did not use the Konami code that much.
Oh, dude, I used it almost every time I popped in Contra. Almost every single time. Especially if I was playing with friends, because if your friend runs out of lives, they can steal your lives.
Interesting.
Yeah, it sucked because, like... You know, the game did have its difficult point. It wasn't that long of a game to run through, but it had its difficult points. And being like 7 or 8 and, you know, just bulldozing a game and not really taking in, I have to use a bit of strategy. You burn through lives like crazy. And there's that one friend that burned through 99 lives in the first, 5 stages. Then they start stealing yours. It sucked.
So, confession, I actually never played Contra. Which isn't really a surprise because that was like 1980s. It was before my time.
Well, they have that port over on the Switch you could try out if you ever felt like it.
Okay. Yeah. I'll have to look into that because I know some...
I don't think it's the original Contra, but there is a Contra on the Switch now.
Okay. Yeah, because some of the games are really good. But then some of them are like really bad because like controls and stuff, like older games, like Banjo-Kazooie. Like I bought the rare, whatever it's called. It was like a rare collection for Xbox 360. And man, I'm not gonna lie. Like I started playing it and I was like, I really hate the controls in this game. And they're really annoying, and it's not good. Which is
Can confirm.
Me and my buddy never finished the game. God, I remember those days. We actually, his dad, we would try a level in Mario 64, and we wouldn't be able to beat it, and so we'd hand the controller to him and hope that he could.
We used to do that in Cecil's bedroom. There'd be a group of us around the Super Nintendo, and if you died in a level, you passed the controller. And we did that all night, and you kept on playing until you died.
Yeah, I like those. We did that in... Yeah, we did that once in Battlefield. My buddy and I had I got my Xbox 360 in college my junior year. I left it at home my first 2 years, and so I brought it, and we would hook it up at his girlfriend's dorm. Well, she had like an RA room at the sorority house, so we'd hook it up there to the internet, and we'd play Battlefield. And we used to like pass it every time you died. You pass the controller, but we eventually got to the point where it was kind of like weird. Like his loadout choice would always conflict with mine, so we used to just like pass it in games. But yeah, I remember that like you play until you die, and then you hand it off, and it always was no. It was no, just one more chance. Those arguments would ensue, but. Yeah, that was the fun way to do gaming, like pass the controller around. And it's like you never beat a game on your own. You beat it like with friends.
Right, the original co-op.
Yep. Single campaign doesn't matter. You die, you hand me the controller, and we do it that way.
Yeah, there's one time we were playing, I believe it was Resident Evil, and we didn't know the codes for the doors, and for whatever reason, I was able to just randomly guess at the code for the door, and a good portion of the time it actually worked.
Are you talking about the mansion one? Where you got all those puzzles?
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched someone play that. Sorry. I watched someone play that not too long ago. Man, I didn't realize how crazy Resident Evil puzzles were. They were some serious shit.
Yeah, they could be a bit annoying. And then later on in the games, they had the whole, if you didn't collect this piece of material, you can't guess the code, even if you know the code.
Wow. Didn't they also like start becoming like more
political? Yes.
Well, yeah, that. But they also became like combat shooters, and like they were less puzzly. Like the 5, 6.
Well, I'm not sure. I never really got too deep into 5 or 6. I kind of skipped them. For the most part, and jumped right into the Biohazard one where you're at the mansion looking for your wife.
Now, is that supposed to be a remake of... Oh, shit. Now I'm going to screw this up. Resident Evil 1?
I am not entirely sure, but it's very interesting the way they went about it.
Wait, no. It's not because you run into Chris Redfield, I think, at the end. And
I believe
working.
so.
He's working for someone you would be surprised he's working for.
I haven't gotten that far into the game myself, even though it's been out for a number of years. So thanks for spoiling it.
Oh, sorry. Well, that's only in a DLC, thankfully. But again, yeah, I'm sorry about that, Zyber. Ladies and gentlemen, always...
It's all right. Now I'm not going to play it.
I'd still play it. There's still a good chunk of stuff to go between there and wherever you're at. I just remember I watched someone play it because I don't like getting the crap scared out of me.
Dude, I am in the jump scare hell right now of just trying to maneuver through the mansion, and I can't find certain pieces, so I'm like, you know what? I'm going to put this aside and play something else.
Yeah, and that's the game it's really puzzle heavy. Like, I think before it was 7. No, sorry, 6. Sorry. That was considered 7. 6 was combat, like quick actions and, changing from one person to the next, bouncing around, the different stories.
Right.
This one, when I watched someone play it, was a lot of puzzles, and it's not, and you're like a mouse in a house full of cats, and you gotta sneak. Like you can't be shooting from the hip, because not only is like things like limited in supply, you have to also be very stealth.
Yeah, that's the whole thing of the one in the house where you're looking for your wife. You have to be stealth. You have to be conservative of your ammo because, well, I only found maybe a handful of shotgun shells, and this crazy old dude keeps on coming after me, and no matter how many times I put him down, he still gets back up, shakes it off, and says, "Hey, buddy, you're fucked."
What doesn't he says it more in a southern accent, saying, "Hey,
True.
Buddy, you've done fucked up, son. You done fucked up."
Absolutely.
Down here on the bayou, we don't take too kindly to you and your ways there, sir. But I think it's a good game. It's a good story. And then they just started remaking everything, which I don't know. I don't know if you've actually played the remake of Resident Evil 2. It's the same bloody story, isn't it?
I believe so. I haven't played it yet.
Okay.
But I believe it's still the same story, just retooled.
Yeah,
and
I
made
don't
to
remember.
look really, really pretty.
Oh God, yes, it's gorgeous. I don't remember too much about that one because I mostly just remember eating cereal, sleeping over at a friend's place, and throwing up. That's what I remember of my Resident Evil 2 experiences. God, those crappy graphics were gory enough to make me sick. But the new one, yeah, it looks pretty. I hope they haven't changed the story because, honestly, I think it's really good to kind of like add in a little something to these things. Like it. So reading a book adds levels of drama and all this other stuff. But like when you also add in the facial experience or facial expressions, that also kind of like adds a depth to the story, and you can really
immerse
really immerse into it instead of seeing like a bit character like shake like because they're angry or cry. It's like it
though. Even in pixelated kind of games, I can still immerse myself into the game as long as the story is solid.
Yeah, and they had to be back then. Like Final Fantasy VII, I never played the game, but like the Final Fantasy series had great stories to them. Like before Final Fantasy 15 with the movie and the cinematics that they had in that, like they were great stories. With just words on a page, and hardly any
I gotta say
graphics.
though, everybody's on this Final Fantasy bandwagon as like, being the best, and people get flamed for saying no, it isn't. Well, guess what? I'm gonna get flamed. No, it isn't. It's not the best. It's not the best game.
What really is the best game?
I have personal preferences. I'm not going to say it's the best because your best might be different than mine. And to me, majority saying the best isn't the best. I call it sheep mentality. But I like American 3, Japanese 6, I believe it is.
Final Fantasy games.
Yeah. That is like one of the creams of the crop right next to Final Fantasy V, because Bartz is just, one of those lovely characters in Final Fantasy V.
Bartz!
Yeah. And, him and his chocobo on this crazy adventure, just freaking phenomenal. And Final Fantasy V, like, there's a part in the game where a certain someone, you think they died, but they didn't, kind of thing, and it was really written well to where, man, I got dust in my eye, and I had to, like, wipe it away.
So, I watched my buddy play 10. I enjoyed it. I didn't get to see it from start. I think years later I watched like YouTube videos to kind of fill in the gaps. 15 is the best story for me.
All right.
Because
it's
emotionally moving.
Hold on, sorry. I have to interrupt you for a second. I lied. I have to clarify my lie. I did play 5 hours of Resident Evil 2 Remake. I don't remember playing it, but Steam says I played 5 hours of it.
Okay. One of those drunken nights.
Most likely.
So, 15 was the only game that I ever played in Final Fantasy, start to finish. My buddy tried to get me to do 13. My biggest gripe with Final Fantasy is the turn-based combat strategy. It just, like,
not
Pokemon.
All of them are turn-based, though. I mean, right around, I believe, 10 or 12, they started to steer away from that turn-based.
Yeah, but then they went back to it with 13, with Lightning.
Oh, all right.
Because it was turn-based there.
I have both of the ones involving lightning. I have not played them yet.
The story's weird. I've seen all 3 of them on YouTube. They're I don't know what I'm getting out of it. Like, it's just kind of time travel, a different universe. I don't know. It's confusing to me, honestly. And I watched all 3 of them in a row. But the what do you call it? The story in 15. I mean, played it like I enjoyed playing it, but the story alone, because I've watched some of these stories like 10, 13, 15. Loved it. It actually, like, literally, like, I was streaming it one night, and towards the end of it, I was just, like, sitting there, and I was just like, I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry. Like, it's just moving.
I remember you, like, going pretty ham on 15.
Yeah, it is very... I don't know whether it's because I'm older, and, like, you know, I'm more in touch with my emotions, my feelings, or it just hit a chord with me. But I found that story to be more captivating.
And this is why during the whole game he was hanging out at the garage, just checking out Cindy the whole time.
I could do that. I literally could spend 150 hours doing that. But 7, what's got me interested in it is Final Fantasy 7 Advent Children.
Yeah, the movie.
Watch that movie. Having never played that Final Fantasy game. So I'm like looking at it and I'm like, they're talking about this or talking about that. I'm like, what the hell are they talking about? Like, this sounds really interesting and intriguing. And I start looking stuff up on the internet years later when I watched it again. And I'm like, okay, this is cool. And then I think they did another one with some gun guy.
Yeah, Final Fantasy VIII. That would be Squall.
Yeah. So that was interesting too, but not as interesting as Advent Children. Like, Advent Children to me was like really good, and like I kind of like that. I like Cloud,
but like, I'm not. I don't think they ever did a Final Fantasy VIII movie. They had Spirit Within, which was completely off. Like,
yeah, what the hell is that?
It was sort of like in it because they cover some of the lore, in a sense, but there's the Advent Children film. They have the, what was it, Kingmaker film or whatever it was for Final Fantasy 15.
Yes, that tied into the game.
And then they had a slew of animes.
The Brotherhood or something like Brothers.
They had Final Fantasy Unlimited.
Oh.
And they had Final Fantasy Crystal of the Wind. I believe it was called Crystal of the Wind. Those were brilliant animes too.
I did not see Crystal of the Wind. I've just seen Final Fantasy Spirits Within, which I agree with you. Like, it seems a little like out of what I limited got to see of that universe. Like, I was like, well, this seems a little odd. But Advent Children was really good, and I don't know. I kind of like this Kiki's Delivery Service, like that town that they're in. Like, it's that old-timey, rustic European seaside kind of feel to it. Maybe not have been seaside in Advent Children, but I don't know, I like that. And then, like, Cloud's kind of, like, contemplative, like, internal struggle feelings thing. Like, to me, like, it struck a chord with me because of my own personal problems and issues at the time when I'd seen it. I think I watched it like a couple of years ago, and I'm just like, Cloud, you're a little bitch. Like, stop. Just get over it. Like, move on, man.
All right, the
like,
movie,
screw Tifa.
The 2-part movie thing that I was thinking of. Sorry, Blue Shark, for stepping on you. It's actually called Legend of the Crystals.
Legend of the Crystals. All right, I'm gonna have to try to look into finding that. Which does it tie in with any game, really?
It ties in with the earlier games where you're the protector of the crystals,
Okay.
and you become champions. It ties in with that whole arc of Final Fantasy.
Gotcha. I
Final
think
Fantasy Unlimited ties into more of a materia use than like, oh, you're guardian of the crystals kind of thing.
Final Fantasy what ties in with the materia?
Unlimited. Final Fantasy
Unlimited.
Unlimited.
Okay. Yeah. Uh, I got laid into the Final Fantasy universe, really. But then again, I think that's just normal because I didn't have PlayStation. But, yeah. We've been going on and on about a bunch of random stuff, but that's normal for us. So, I just saw your crossed out list of Pokemon you need back from earlier this month.
Yeah.
What are you at? Just give our viewers where you at. You done? You got them all?
I do not have them all. I am. Let's see. Look at that list real quick. I need 4 more off of that list, so I'm 4 away from complete. And for the Pokedex, on my home account, I am roughly 68 away from complete.
Wow. Yeah, I'm still very early in the game. I said I wasn't going to do this with these games, but I did it. I haven't finished this one. I still haven't finished Breath of the Wild. Gosh darn it. Like, I need to get further in that game. I put that on hold for this. But, yeah, I'm still on Gym 6, maybe?
Yeah, I gotta replay pretty much half of my Pokemon games only because there was some corruption on my save files, so had to start over. Actually, this past weekend, I pulled apart a lot of my Pokemon games, put in new batteries to replace the dry ones, as well as cleaning them up and making them playable again. But on doing that, I also found out when I popped them in, they actually booted up. My save files were all corrupted.
I can relate to that. Today at work, my mouse was double clicking for some random reason, and so I had to take my mouse apart and clean it out and put it back together. So I understand your pain.
But you didn't have corrupted data, so
No. And I didn't lose any save files. Well, I think now's as good time as any. Zyber, tell the people where they can find you.
well, you can find me palling around on the G.N.A. Discord, the G.N.A. Twitter, the G.N.A. Facebook, as well as my own Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can search Zyberblood, that's Zyberblood. 10 to 1, you'll find me. You can also find me on Twitch and Mixer by the same name, Zyberblood. I usually stream pretty much every other Friday with my Let's Paint, or I will do a playthrough of something. But yeah, pretty much I'm on a hiatus from that until I get some things sorted out. But yeah, that's where you can find me.
Very good. And you're doing really good with those painting miniatures that I've seen. Like that leather one, that's some damn good details you threw in there.
Thank you, good sir. Yeah, I'm trying to get back my proficiency with my airbrush, but it's kind of difficult when I don't have a spray booth sucking the spray away.
A spray boot?
Booth.
Ah, booth. Gotcha. Yeah, I know next to nothing about how to use an airbrush. I just know that it's paint, air, compressor, adds a little it's like using like an aerosol can of spray paint, except a little more precision. And they make really good spray paint tattoos too.
Yeah.
It's actually the shark that I've got on here is the exact same one that I got, except she added more like blues and grays to it with the spray paint. I just got this in black just because I was told that color fades, it doesn't look that great, and so I didn't really get into a spray paint tattoo for a colored tattoo for my arm. But anyway, I am your host, Blue Shark 45, and you can find me on Twitter, where actually I've been tweeting a little more often, or liking tweets or commenting on other people's tweets. I follow some really cool people, or at least I think they're cool. People like Zyber Blood and the G.N.A podcast. Which, speaking of the G.N.A podcast, you can find the G.N.A podcast on Twitter at G.N.A podcast. And if you go on there, you can click on our pinned tweet and you can join our Discord server, the G.N.A podcast Discord service, the official Discord service where we talk about the most random things. We have a group of people that like to play RimWorld, Escape from Tarkov. We also have people who are talking about painting, like you just heard from Zyber.
And our good friend Stainsby and Co. and Damok.
Yes, they're all painting miniatures. So you got questions about getting started on painting miniatures, this is the best place to go. You got questions about photography, we got a channel for that. Anime, horror movies, the whole 9 yards. If it's gaming, nerd related, or really some obscure thing, you just probably might find it on here. Do you like this podcast? We sure hope you do. If you could, please drop a rate and a review for our podcast to help other people like you find this podcast on our podcast delivery services such as iTunes, Google Play Music, Spreaker, MyTuner, Your Listen, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and just about anywhere else. And hell, you can't find us there? Well, ladies and gentlemen, just drop us a message and we will be sure to upload to that podcast delivery service. Do you like anime? Because I sure like anime. Join us once a week, every Wednesday night at 19:30 Eastern Standard Time for Anime Night. We are currently watching Demon Slayer.
Great anime.
It is. Recommended by my buddy Ish. He told me about it. It's about a boy whose family is killed, and he goes off to train to fight demons because they're prevalent in this world. It's kind of a... I want to say they're more of a... What kind of time period is this? This is like a colonial Japan. Like this is when Japan brought in a lot of different groups or different countries to come in. The Dutch, the British, the Americans came. And, like the samurai are slowly fading out and they're starting to, become more modern.
Yeah, they're starting up industry, mainly the railroad and coal mining and whatnot.
Yes. So that's just to give you an idea of what era this is in. That's when this kind of takes place. There's still a lot of samurai stuff. There's swords and the like. But it's a very good anime. Let's see. We also have, if you're really into it, I'm not, because I don't like the creepy crawlies, the dark places, the getting scared and jumping out of my seat, but some of us do. We have a horror movie night, and we host that once a month on the second Sunday of every month, right, Zyber?
Second Saturday of every month. Right now, we are looking at Slugs from 1986, 7, somewhere in there. I'm still working on getting a copy of Slither, because to me, Slither is a remake of Slugs. That's the whole premise of those two movies. If not, I'll substitute Slither with something else.
And what time and where can they watch that at?
It is starting now at 1900 hours Eastern Standard Time every Sunday, or God damn it, every other I can't talk right now. Every second Saturday of the month on Cast, same place as Anime Night, just a different room.
Yep, that's cast.gg.
Absolutely.
That's just go in there and create your account. It may take a bit for them to email you something. They're supposedly fixing things, but yeah, sign up there and you can join our rooms from there. Just look up G.N.A podcast, horror movie, anime, tag that on, you'll find us. We also do game show night. Do you like playing games? Do you like playing games with others? Do you like potentially winning things? Well, game show night is the place for you. First Saturday of every month, we host a game show night starting at 2000 hours. That's 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on mixer.com/G.N.A podcast, where you can join us and others playing games such as Murder Mystery Party 2. Nothing beats trivia and killing your friends. Play Murder Mystery Party 2 with the G.N.A podcast, and we sure will have a wonderful evening together.
Yes,
and
that'll be this coming, not tomorrow, or wait, no, it's your Thursday, it's my Friday. Never mind. It's not this coming Saturday, but it's next Saturday. I'm doing lovely right now.
Yes, you are. Because it is this Saturday. Oh, wait.
No. It's a leap year, so it's not this Saturday. It's next Saturday.
29 days in this month. Never mind. Moving on. So, do you know anything about Humble Bundle, Zyber? And would you like to tell the good people about
I'd
Humble
tell
Bundle?
these good, fine, sexy people about Humble Bundle. Humble Bundle is a game purchasing service that you can help us, get some clout in and rapport by helping us support a charity. Yes, you buy games, you support charity, and how do you do that? Well, you go to one of the bundles, you go all the way down to the bottom. When you purchase it, there's a little drop down. Take the slider for us, move it all the way to 0, take the one for charity, crank it all the way to full. Or if you want to give some to Humble, some to the developer, and some to charity, we recommend that. If you give it to us, we're just using it for codes for, game show night. But yes, to do that, you just pop in $partner equals G.N.A podcast at the end of the bundle link, and you'll help us support.
And we always appreciate you helping us support our charity, which is Extra Life, where they raise money for the Children's Miracle Network of hospitals, funding things such as research, and they also help pay for care. So children, families with children who need certain care, cancer treatments, and emergencies.
Yes, families that need extra assistance. That's where they step in. Also, if you want to help us out, open enrollment is active right now. So if you want, just come in, join our Discord, and click that link in the Extra Life room and join up. Help us raise money for Extra Life.
And the Extra Life starts the 1st, runs all the way to the 31st, end of the year. So you can join at any time. But we try to see what happens this year. We're going to try to throw together another Extra Life team. I'm sure there's people in our community that'll be interested in it, and you can definitely join us.
Yeah, I mean, Josh has been our ringer so far.
I don't know if the wedding's going to allow me to do it, but we'll see. Probably not. I'm probably going to be too busy.
Yeah, we're all probably going to be at your wedding, because isn't that the second Saturday of November?
Yeah, pretty much. That's right.
So yeah, none of us are doing it this year unless we take time after your nuptials to do a quick game.
Yep. That's right, folks. I picked bad times to do things. But that's all right.
Or maybe it's the week before. I can't remember.
Yeah, it's something like it's in the beginning of November. I don't remember which one, but it's Saturday. It's a 24-hour stream. But I'm sure we will have something thrown together. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you've made it to the end of this podcast, we'd like to thank you for doing so. And we'd just like to say that your continued support while we go through this transition while Cecil's working on his MBA is greatly appreciated. And we hope that you continue to listen to this podcast. And we hope that you have a wonderful evening. Good night, everyone.
Good night.